So, okay. Fabulous. So welcome to the Community Resilience Forum. What we're going to do first is introduce everybody. So who would like to go first? And if that person, when they've finished their couple of minute intro, would like to nominate somebody else, it'll go really smoothly. Who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
Yeah, that was you. You were quick on the buzzer there, Lorraine.
Win a few game shows, me, Jonathan.
I
Hello,
can see.
everyone.
That's excellent.
I'm Lorraine Gibson, and I am from Great Wall Homes. I'm from the community involvement team. It's a small team of 4 at the moment, and yeah, I'm just here to let you know what's going on within Great Wall Homes and share with you. There we go. Next on my list, Jonathan, I think is Kevin.
Right, you can all hear me okay?
We can.
Yeah.
Hello, Lorraine. I saw you at the event on Wednesday this week.
Yes, you did, Kevin. I thought I recognised you. How are you? Okay.
Very well, thank you. Yes, so I'm Kevin Johnson. I'm manager of Victoria Centre, working from home today. And so the background is home, not office. So Victoria Centre, of course, has had a long history in Wellingborough, has been involved on previous community resilience. My first time round, so I'll be learning a lot from everybody else here, but of course putting the resources of Victoria Centre at the disposal of the project as well. So that's me.
Thank you for that. Who are you going to nominate, Kevin?
I'll nominate Simon Cox.
Thank you. So good afternoon to everybody. Simon Cox, I lead on the North Northamptonshire Business Network and the membership organisation for North Northamptonshire now on the NNBN. There's loads going on from our part. We've got a lot of help and support for small businesses, grant funding, there's webinars, there's seminars going on, things like this that we can actually help to drive the economy forward in the area of North Northamptonshire. So really pleased to be joining you. And today I am joining you from Wellingborough. I'm actually at my parents' house on the dining room table today. So I'm literally just around the corner probably from all of you. And I've just had a great conversation and coffee with Joe around the Glamis Hall as well. So so it's good to have a catch up with Joe. So that's me. I've been posting some bits in the chat for you throughout today. And I'm going to nominate Judy.
Hi, I'm Judy from Wellingborough Eco Group. So hello to everyone. The Eco Group's got quite a few projects on the go at the moment. We've got our community allotment, we've got our Queen's Green Canopy project that Marion's doing lots of work towards. We've got our food sharers, our energy savers, our swap shop, which has turned into more of a bring and buy stall. And what else have we got? We were involved in the climate conversations, which I know that some of you came to. Yes, I can't think of anything else at the moment, but yeah, so we've got lots of things on the go. And I would like to nominate, I think, is it just Marion left?
And Kim, of course. But yeah,
Kim, okay, yeah, let's say Marion.
Kim's hiding.
I'm in hideout, sorry.
Who's going first, Marion or Kim? Go on.
Oh, I can go first if you like. So obviously I'm Marion Turner-Hawes. I wear a number of hats. I'm a town councillor on Wellingborough Town Council for the Isbrook ward, and I also am working at the moment on a project with the Wellingborough Eco Group and Glamis Hall around the climate. It's the climate action project for Wellingborough, which involves a lot of stuff to do with resilience and moving towards how we would like life in Wellingborough to be, as well as making it sustainable. And also I've been, I do a lot of stuff with different groups in the community, and recently I've been spending a lot of time working with friends at Victoria Centre and others across the town in terms of supporting Ukrainian refugees, which is what we're very keen to do in this area, but across North Northampton as a whole. And also, as Judy said, I've been spending, actually this week, I've been spending a lot of time at the community allotment, can't think why, must be to do with the weather. and trying to pass on trees and plants to people around the town, which is going quite well. But if you are part of a community group or a local, well, Jonathan might correct me, local faith group or an organisation that would be happy to receive some trees, we still have a great many left. Some little baby trees about 12 inches, 16 inches tall, and you know, we're happy to pass those over, but that's going quite well. Yeah, probably something I've forgotten, but hey. Oh, and tomorrow, I mean, I don't know if Judy's going to say about this or Jonathan, but obviously we're working with the Wellingborough and Wellingborough Town Council are doing a big litter pick tomorrow morning in the town centre in Wellingborough. So hopefully some of you will come and join us and enjoy the sun tomorrow morning.
There's an invite. I'm not sure what Judy's doing over there. There we go.
Sorry, I'm on my phone and it just keeps sort of moving and falling over and things.
Adds to the fun. Kim, you haven't got that issue, obviously, because you're hiding still.
Yeah, sorry, I have logged off and logged on again, but it doesn't seem to work. So hi everyone, so my name's Kim, and I've recently started my own business called Mini Me Mindfulness and Mindset Coaching for Kids. So currently I'm working with local primary schools, infant schools and nurseries, helping kids build resilience, confidence, reduce stress, anxiety, teaching them mindset coaching and mindfulness skills. And yeah, it's becoming very successful, the schools that I'm working at, great positive feedback. I'm really excited, and just currently set up a couple of classes in the community, in sort of local establishments, and yeah, so from next term I'm going to be running those. But obviously this is a great group to network and you know, see where else I can develop and you know, help and try to inspire and encourage as many sort of young children and families as possible to help with their you know, mental health awareness and well-being.
Sounds fabulous. Joe, you're not going to get out of it. You may be late, but would you like to introduce yourself if you can get your camera and stuff working?
Hello, can you all see me? I've turned it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Joe from Glamis Hall. Sorry I'm late. I had two back-to-back and just had a builder to go around the building with. So sorry I'm late. What are we doing?
We just introduce. Everybody's introducing themselves, apart from myself and you, really. So you can go next.
Who's next?
You're next. You can go next.
Well, hi, I'm Joe from Glamis Hall. Sorry, I'm late.
Go. I think, go on.
Yeah. What have we been doing? Loads. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we've had to cancel our race night that was supposed to be tomorrow night. But apart from that, we've got building work starting again in May, some more refurbishment works. I'm planning our summer festival, so that will be going ahead on the 23rd of July. All the paperwork's going in for that at the minute. So hopefully, if you've got families or just want to come along for the day, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Made with Many are here, the Eco Group are here, Petting Farm are here, zoo, various other things. Yeah, what's everybody else said? Over to you, Jonathan. You're looking better. Jonathan,
Jonathan, we can't hear you.
you seem to be stuck in a time loop.
On mute.
Yeah, I've got two little faces. One little face has decided to burp at me, so I'm going to try and log back in on that. But you can have the second me for a minute, the private me. Whilst that decides to do what it does. Yeah, I'm Jonathan. I think you probably all know that because I've written to you. Let me just try and join on this as well. Oh, what's going on? I don't know what that's doing. What was I going to say to you?
You've frozen on both of them now.
Have I frozen on both? No, I haven't, have I?
Yes, you have.
Oh, only on one of them on mine.
Oh, it's not moving on either of mine.
No, hold on. Sorry about this, people. Oh, there we go.
Feedback.
Yeah, it does tend to get like that. Right, okay, I'm back again, I think. So sorry about that. Fabulous. Right, I'm Jonathan. Bit confused because even the machines are ganging up on me a little bit. What was I going to say? Yeah, you've all received the emails from me. I am Secretary of Wellingborough Eco Group. I am the current Member Pioneer. Lorraine was the previous one, I think she said the other day. There you go. So there's a link, which is cool. The role of a co-op Member Pioneer is to try and act as a conduit, somebody just kind of makes things happen, tries to connect people. And something that we did, myself, Marion, Judy, a few of the other people here at the Victoria Centre last year, was something called the One Wellingborough Plus project that made the Community Resilience Forum. And it just seemed completely right to sort of bring that back because people knew what it was and to try and get people talking again. Because I think since that disappeared, the cooperation, I'm getting that word co-op in again, and the communication stopped a little bit. So that's what we're doing here, and that's what I hope this is going to do. We have slightly less people today because I must admit I've been in hospital for most of this week, so I haven't really sort of pushed it so much. And I must admit I didn't take my co-op devices because I thought they might go walkies in the hospital. I can buy my own devices, but trying to get business devices sort of swapped is a bit of a different thing, I think. But anyway, there we go. So do apologise if you were expecting a few more people. We'll get some more people next time.
To be honest, I think we probably thought you were going to cancel, seeing as you only came out of hospital yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, Marion talked me into cancelling it, and then I sort of saw a couple of emails and I thought, you know what, people are just having a conversation. I'm going to be sitting on the sofa, probably looking at exactly the same device, and I can just have a conversation. Do you know what I mean? If you'd have asked me to do this 2 days ago, it wouldn't have happened because I could have said 2 or 3 words. If you'd have asked me to do this Monday, then, well, crikey, you wouldn't want to see that, but there we go. So, like I say, I feel a lot better, which is a bonus. Doesn't mean I'm going to start litter picking tomorrow, though, but we'll see how we get on. Anywho, the next thing on the agenda, and I'm not touching the phone because I think that's the reason why it jumped off the tablet and went onto the phone earlier, is the interactive presentation. So let's have a go, see if we can get this thing to work. Now, the reason for going back to this presentation from last time, and me and Marion have had a great time on the Wellingborough Climate Action Project, was actually Marion, bless her. So I'm going to take control on this one because it works better than the one with all the restrictions on it. Last time we went through this presentation. We've done that slide already. We talked about what a community is. We talked about where a community is. And we talked about who is a community, who's in your community. But actually, something that we sort of run out of time to do, and I think Marion objected a little bit, I'll keep on blaming you, Marion, sorry, is that we didn't actually have a chance to talk about what community resilience is. And I think it's probably important for us to just sort of have a conversation about what that is, because that's the point of this forum, basically. Would anybody like to start the ball rolling on that? Tell us what community resilience is and what will make our community resilient.
I mean, to me, resilience is about fighting back and having strength in an area where we're up against something or facing challenges. The challenge coming a lot of it. We know prices and people's finances and obviously the confidence as well with the pandemic situation as well. Community aspect, as we know, is what it is. It's people, and without people, the world doesn't go round. So we need people in these communities to fight back against some of the the day-to-day challenges and dramas that are all coming at us, really.
And having a good network can sort of help us if we all know what each other does and where we can go to for help is always useful.
Working together to help those in the community that don't know where to go for the support, and knowing each other's roles in the community and what we can support them to do, or send people to other people to support them.
Fabulous. Does anybody else want to say anything, Marion? I thought she did. Yeah. Marion.
I think Simon summed it up quite well. Really, the community resilience or personal resilience is our ability to respond to changing events that may be positive or changing events that may be negative, whatever. It's how to respond to how we're living, how we're operating, things that happen around us. And I always think of like a tree in a community. You know, on a nice sunny day like this, a tree would probably thrive, but when there's a storm blowing through, like we had a few months ago when we had that hurricane suddenly turn up one Sunday morning, how does that tree cope when it's put under pressure? And I think that's like us. How do we cope as individuals when we're put under pressure? And how do we cope as communities when we're put under pressure? So I think a robust and resilient community is a community that's able to withstand difficulties, challenge, ongoing pressure, and as well as pressure that just turns up, like that hurricane a few weeks ago. Yeah, so we have to bear with me.
Hello, Karon.
Yeah, Karon might join us as well now, actually. Yeah,
Fabulous.
that's all right. So I think
we can't actually. Oh, sorry, you're not finished. Go on.
I don't know what I was going to say. But it's not just about coping with stress. It's also about, I think, a resilient community is a sustainable community, is a community that has a good diverse base to it and is able to sustain lots of different people, lots of different aspects to our life, lots of nature. That makes for a resilient and sustainable community. I don't think you can have resilience in a sentence without sustainability somewhere nearby, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Marion's found the sticking up hand button. So I don't know if Marion wants to take that down, but anybody can use that if they want. Or because we've got quite a small bunch of people, you can just wave your hand at me and I should see you. Obviously, Kim, you can't do that, I'm afraid. Kevin's got his hand up. There we go.
So obviously, I agree with all that's been said there, and just within that, the challenges that the community faces or that individuals face are a legion. We've got the costs and finances. We've got social challenges coming out of COVID still. We've got environmental challenges where the world's at serious risk and imminent danger. But this comes down very much to the issue that in isolation, it's easy to break something. Now, the metaphor is a stick. You take one stick and you bend it and it will break easily. You put a bundle of sticks together and you try and break those, it doesn't happen. The community needs to be the same. So we will look out for each other's weaknesses and lend our strengths and be lent strength when we need it as well. So that for me is community.
I like that analogy. That's good. I think if anybody's not got anything else to say on that, that does kind of lead us into the next slide, which I'm not sure this thing's going to let me do because it's being a bit of a sausage, but you never know, do you? There we go. Let's try something else. No, let's cancel that.
Even your technology knows you shouldn't be working.
I'll tell you. Definitely one of them, isn't it? I tell you. I've got all of these slides on photos, but do you think it wants to recognise the photos today? It did last time, but today it says no. Anywho. Right. Okay. So we'll just whack through these again. Sorry if I'm making your eyes hurt. Probably gone too far because I'm good like that. Yeah, that's exactly where Kevin left us off, basically. What is community resilience? And Kevin actually suggested the next slide. I'm sure Kevin did this to me last time and obviously read the slides for me, but there we go, c'est la vie. The big thing for me is how can we work together? And I think that's exactly what Kevin's just said. How can we help each other to make Wellingborough a better place to live and work for everyone? And that is a resilient community. Does anybody want to sort of chip in on that? Did you stick your hand?
There you go.
Sorry, I just stopped presenting so I could see you.
I know we want to talk about how we work together, but I just want to go back a step. If we're talking about what a resilient community is, I mean, Kevin mentioned, and I think it's worthwhile us thinking about the challenges that are affecting our community, the winds that are blowing through at the moment. And they're not little winds either, they're big, they're effectively pretty big hurricanes going through. But it's also worth noting, well, what actually undermines a resilient community? What actually makes it hard for us to be resilient, either as individuals or as organisations or as a community? I just thought it'd be worth thinking about that for a minute, because if we're able to identify the things that undermine us, maybe we're able to do something about those by working positively.
Does anybody want to sort of take that thread on?
So what undermines us having resilient communities?
That stunned you all into silence.
If we don't connect with each other
Slides
and
beforehand.
don't know what other people are doing, I suppose that's that's not very helpful.
So if we don't connect with each other and we don't know what we're doing, that's good. So that's why it's a good idea to get together. What else undermines us?
I think at times it might even be our own pride that we're doing something in the community and we're trying to own that and have solo sort of business ownership of that. And it's actually having the strength to actually be happy to work with partners and share that experience and put together than sort of having that ownership and sort of taking all the praise to look what we did. So yeah, absolutely, it's breaking the barriers down within ourselves to understand that we were here for one common goal, and that is the community, and just to shed that sort of that personal aspect of it.
There's a kind of fear of sharing as well as a fear of, I can see Judy's hand waving, but there's also in our community, particularly in the voluntary sector and stuff, there's been and others, there's been a sense of competition.
Yes.
So so actually I think sometimes the resources we've felt the resources have been very, very low, so sometimes people are competing with each other. Judy was going to say something.
And sometimes just there's still this problem of fake news, just sort of not knowing what to believe is true. I suppose whether people really need help and who really needs help. And I think the war in Ukraine has sort of thrown all the fake news thing up again.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily so much locally, but just as a sort of whole global thing.
I think that's a very good point, actually, because I mean, I know you're saying globally, but I think locally, I've seen over the last 10 or 12 years the lack of information about, particularly if you're supporting people, as a lot of us are supporting people that have got very little income, relying on food banks, all this sort of stuff. We know there's a difficulty and there's challenges for people, but sometimes trying to get the information about the numbers of people that are struggling or whatever. So when that information has been disappearing, it's been hard to prove beyond anecdotal information that people are struggling, even though we know it in ourselves that they are. So actually the whole thing about quality information is really important, and if the systems that we used to have that provided quality information have been undermined, which many of them have, then I think that makes it, not only does it makes it hard to prove the challenges that people are facing, but also it makes it hard for us to use that data to work together, if you see what I mean.
Definitely. Yeah. Anybody else? Oh, Joe.
Something that we found with doing the One Wellingborough side of stuff was that people came to us for help too late, and people need to be encouraged to not to leave it till the last minute. They left it until they had no food in the house and they needed shopping, or they left it till they were running out of medication and needed it collecting, or they needed advice on COVID and vaccinations. But because they didn't necessarily know where to go, that posed a problem. But then even if they did know where to go, they were like, oh no, we'll be fine, we'll cope without it. They didn't want to ask for the help. And I think we need to let people know that we are here, and stress that we're here to help, and that people can come to us no matter what.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's a good point. Simon, put your hand up for a while.
Yeah, thank you. So the one thing we're doing on the business community is we're engaging directly with the government over key information, which is the correct information to cut what you've just said there, Marion, because there is a lot of information that does fly around our communities, which is fake news. I think, Judy, you mentioned it as well. It is a case of we have to make sure we have the right information for the right people. Whether we believe it or not, whether we think it's the right thing or not, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the right information. And I'll share something in a minute about what we've been saying to businesses in the area about what to do if they are struggling with a downturn. So, because not many people talk about this in business, we're all supposed to be here to be talking about the positivity, the sales, the growth and all this lot, but there's also the realistic side that it is ultimately very challenging sometimes, especially about, you know, little security in an insecure world. So if I'll share this this next link in the chat for you about what we've been saying to businesses. So if you do hear of anybody that is struggling as a business, please do share that link with them, because it's there to give them some reassurance, that they're not alone, but also it's the right way to approach things if they are struggling. It's all around universal credit and things like this, but some people are their pride is they don't want to touch it. You know, they don't want to go near it because it's their pride. But, you know, we are in very, very uncertain times, very uncertain, unfortunately. Definitely.
Kevin.
So again, partly in summary of what's already been said, we got resources issues, individuals got resources issues, but this sector has got resource issues as well. We do have some generous patrons and grant providers, but we often feel, and I think rightly so, that there's not enough money for the right things. But individuals, of course, you know, them not having the resource in the first place is what leads to a need. But I think I've just picked up from what's been said that causing isolation is fear and pride and shame. And of course, to address that, we need openness, humility and acceptance. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're really good points, actually, because a lot of personal resilience and community resilience, a lot of personal resilience, and we make up the community, is about feelings, confidence, self-worth, those sorts of things. And, you know, at the heart of good community are people. So if we're feeling undermined or challenged, or, you know, then that makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for us to cooperate with each other. If you're feeling fearful, it makes it difficult to share, to collaborate, etc. So I think Karen's coming in, Jonathan.
She was. Let's have a look, see if I can get this one to work.
I'll do that. I think I can do that. I've done that for you.
You've done it already.
Isn't it?
Fabulous. Yeah. I'm now not the only person who's got two things in the same house. That's good. How are you, Karon? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
Would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
I'm Karon, I'm Marion's wife, and get involved with a lot of things that she's doing, I suppose.
Yeah, but you do your own stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah, I run a disability group. I run a group for disabled people, support group. And I've been collecting stories of people in for another project, collecting stories of disabled people in Wellingborough and LGBT people in Wellingborough, oral histories, and transcribing those. So I've been doing that.
When's that going live, Karon? I did sort of, I shared that, didn't I, at Christmas, I think, on the Eco Group's Advent calendar.
Yeah, you could well have done. It's, I think it's been delayed, but it will be coming out, I think probably be more like the summertime sometime. Yeah.
Fabulous. Super. We were talking about community resilience. Sorry, I don't know if Marion's sort of talking or eating there. I can tell.
I'm saying that Karen's been doing that with Made with Many.
Yes. Yeah. We were due to have Mel from Made with Many. And a couple of other people have given their apologies at the last minute, including Mary from Redeemed Funds, who's had to go abroad to look after a family member. A bit strange, but anyway. So yeah, we were talking about community resilience and essentially what stops community resilience. Marion put it far more eloquently than that, but have you got any sort of input on that, Karon? Because I guess that's probably sort of, I don't know, something that you sort of come across quite a lot.
Community resilience. I suppose part of the disability group, we support each other, and we share information. Like someone might say, I'm got a new medication, or I don't know about a disability aid, such as a new wheelchair, or what type of car a hoist could go into, or and usually there's someone in the group that knows something, and so that's supporting each other. I suppose that's a form of community resilience, I suppose. Yeah.
What do you think makes resilience difficult, Karon? Particularly for someone that might be disabled.
Well, access, I suppose. I suppose that's what you're getting at, but because there's a lot of access issues, you know, for wheelchairs and stuff, and a number of people in my group live in not good accommodation for being disabled and not being able to, are sort of stuck in home because they literally can't get out of their property because of their steps outside, or there's, you know, no drop curbs, or there's yeah, quite a lot of difficulties actually. Yeah.
Fully sympathise now, I think, is the nicest way of putting it.
Yeah, you do, Jonathan. Yeah.
And I'm as guilty as anybody else. I think if you're blessed with mobility and you can get around, you don't even think about it. And when it's taken away from you, and that's what you do an awful lot of support for, comes as a bit of a shock, I think is the nicest way of putting it. So yeah, like I say, but I've got a new old wheelchair now, so watch me go. It is slightly mouldy and slightly rusty, but I'm sure it'll be amazing.
I know that I know Jonathan, sorry, I saw Johan. I know that the disability group welcomes people that are newly disabled, even if they're only temporarily disabled. So, you know.
Invited, but it's
I've already been invited. I thought I was having it operated in April, but that's changed. Anyway, enough about me. I think Joe or Lorraine, I think Joe had a pencil up there.
Sorry, I was just going to say, although Karon had mentioned about physical access in and out of homes and things, there's also the problem with disabled about the digital access and the paper access, and having somebody to explain it or translate it or even read it to them or sign it to them. That can be a problem.
Yeah.
Definitely, that is something that, like, it sounds really simple, but us as a group could offer sessions for that. Like, for instance, Judy, our Tuesday afternoons, we could say, if you've got an issue with your iPhone or your tablet or whatever it is, bring it in and we'll try and put the software on or whatever it is. We're not going to be able to fix everything, but
no, I'm not talking about fixing stuff necessarily, Jonathan. I'm talking about when all the leaflets are printed, who's doing the blind ones, the braille ones for the blind community.
Yeah,
that side of things, rather than physically fixing something.
No, I wasn't thinking of fixing was the wrong word. I was thinking of accessing things on their devices. So, for instance, you all know somebody called Emma who comes to our food sharers thing and makes quite a lot of noise. got this lovely phone, hasn't the foggiest idea to use it. And I said that I'd basically try and show her. I just imagine, like, she's quite sort of savvy. There must be hundreds, perhaps thousands of people out there, similar sort of idea. Lorraine, I think you had. Sorry, go on.
Sorry.
That's all right, Karon. It was for you anyway. Do you want to continue what you were saying?
One of my members, or if I call him that, he has his house. He's wheelchair bound completely, and can't, he has carers put him to bed and get him up and stuff. But he has a lot of support himself around using things like Alexa to open the front door for him and to see who's there, and using IT a lot now. I mean, he's quite savvy about it, unlike myself, really. And he actually can ask it to open the curtains for him in the morning and things like that. It's amazing what technology can do if you know about it. I mean, he blows my mind sometimes with the things he tells me, what he's managed to get these equipments to do. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Lorraine, you were going to say something. Was that
the doorbell?
That was you, was it?
No, it wasn't.
It's one way to introduce your thing.
It was just a question to Karon, really. Is the group that you hold with the disability group, is it about physical disabilities, or are you touching on neurodiversity as well, the hidden disabilities?
Yeah, I mean, a number of us have got sort of more hidden disabilities. You might not. I mean, I can be in a wheelchair some days I can be walking around, not very far, but so some people think, oh, there's nothing wrong with her, but they don't see the pain that I'm in literally all the time and things like that, so so that type of thing. I suppose not so much on the autistic type of, it is more physical disability at the moment, because there wasn't, I started this during lockdown, and a number of us were just literally couldn't go out the house. Many of us were isolating, and so the group decided, it wasn't my decision, it was a group decision, and people decided they wanted more physical disability, so we could talk about wheelchairs, we could talk about pain medications, we could talk about things like that. Yeah. I have no objection to anyone joining, really. So, and I'm sure no one else would, but at the time, and that could change, I think if someone came forward, I don't think we'd ever refuse anyone, actually.
No, the reason I was asking is because in Great Wall Homes now, we've just started a new EDI customer group. So I wondered how many of your people were customers. And so what we've decided to do to sort of share information around disabilities and hidden disabilities is we've got a gentleman coming in on the 7th of April who is in a wheelchair himself. OBE Phil Friend will be coming to do a talk at Great Wall Homes to talk about life in the wheelchair, but also he's going to be touching on hidden disabilities as well. So I'm just wondering if I can get links to some of the members there that might want to join in and log on to that talk that we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. I could share my email address if I could work out how you do it.
Yeah,
and
no problem.
Then you could email me. That'd be great.
Okay.
Good. Or we could you could use the community email list if you wanted to, that Marion is part of, to sort of share that information, whatever you like. I think Simon had his hand up first. I'm not sure if Judy's holding on the phone or.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to stop my phone from falling over. It's just
No, don't worry, Judy. Go on. Simon, you had your hand up for ages.
In the blue tack, Judy,
yeah,
may help.
That's what it needs,
I was just thinking, Karon, hearing what you just said there about people with disabilities trying to use technology and things like this. I mean, I lost the use of my left arm recently because of trapped nerve. But it means I can't hold my phone in my left hand up to actually make a phone call, which is really frustrating because I've been doing that for 48 years. But I was just thinking, is there a way that we could maybe organise a local business that's using the technology that writes a lot of, say, skills and things for Alexa and that, to come and talk to people that would actually really want to learn about what they could do with this tech? I appreciate you've got a member of the group that's using it already, but so they can understand what, if people can speak, we can start and use this technology to actually start and get things done. Is there any value in trying to organise something like that, do you think?
I think that's a great idea, because one person in our group knows about that. The rest of us are really interested in it, but I mean, he had it set up for him, to be fair. So, I mean, he knows how to use it, but he wouldn't probably know how to set it up. So, but, and it's only on his experience that he's sharing with us, but I'm sure there's a lot more equipment and IT stuff that we have no idea about. And, I think that'd be a really good idea. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get this. I'll speak to somebody, because I know somebody that writes what they call the Alexa skills and things like that for Alexa. So obviously I'm not surrounded by Alexa. I've said it about 5 times, fortunately, and there's nothing glowing at me trying to deliver Amazon deliveries to the house or anything. But what I'm thinking is, if I speak to him and say, look, would he be prepared to come and explain it in very basic language that people understand, the benefit of actually using this tech to enhance people's lives forward? I think that would be certainly a way to help fight back about and give people a better quality of life as well through tech. I'll have a chat with him for you. I know him pretty well. I'm seeing him next Thursday, so I'll find out.
Okay, thank you.
I think Jo had her hand up next. There was a sea of hands all of a sudden there. This is quite a subject. Well done, Karon.
Yeah, it was just did you know, Fab have stopped operating in Wellingborough after 40-something, 50-something years, because they were meeting up here, but post-COVID, they couldn't get the numbers together to have their social group and go out and about and do things. So I don't know if any of those clients weren't on your radar, but perhaps should be, because that's dissolved.
Can I just say something?
Sorry, I contacted Fab when I started the group up, and I'm actually tried to contact him again, but to be honest, haven't got anywhere. I've had no response at all. I'm not really sure.
I've got the emails of the 2 women that ran it.
Okay.
Direct emails rather than.
Sorry, it's Kim here. Sorry, I'm in the dark still.
Hello, Kim.
I do know Julie, that runs Fab quite well. So, personally, so
no,
yeah.
it was Helen and Rita that rang it in Wellingborough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Helen,
they've disbanded.
Helen Wharton, that is. Helen Wharton.
Yeah.
As in Robert Wharton from the museum, so we could speak to Helen.
Yeah.
And ask her.
Cool. I don't know. Did you have your hand up, Lorraine, or have you put it back down again?
No, I was just actually going to put something in the chat just about software. One of the software, first of all, there's a new neurodiversity hub, which is opened up in Silver Street, isn't there? For hidden disabilities. And the other thing I was going to say, I'm working with Great Wall Homes also to have a look at how we communicate with our customers and our customers and staff that have disabilities. So one of the software that I know a lot of people use that might help is Dragon, which is voice activated. You can do your emails, you can do everything without actually touching your PC whatsoever. So that's always a really good one that will help hidden and physical disabilities. So just putting it out there.
Yeah, I love Dragon. I use Dragon all the time because I can't actually physically type very long, so I just talk and it types for me. So it's great.
Can I say something about some people said about accessible information, etc.? Because on the one hand, there's the technology and the tools issue. For some people, it's just basically understanding language. Karon and I have done a lot of work over the years around easy read materials, and we can obviously do. I'm going to be doing some of that work soon, but there's much more we can do on that, and I think to help it. I mean, one of our aims really when we talked about community resilience way back, and is about inclusion, because a lot of people get excluded from, taking part and being part of a community, often not from their own, it's not their own fault or their own volition or their own choice. It's just that things are communicated in a form that they just don't understand. And sometimes that's about disability or neurodiversity or learning disability, and sometimes it's about language. Sometimes it's about, obviously there's a lot of people that are deaf or deafened, as well as those that are blind or visually impaired. And for most disabled people, they're disabled by society, not just about their health conditions. So I guess that's a big part of what we'll need to think about if we want to help more people to take part, is actually thinking about the formats that we can make information available in, so that more people are enabled to take part.
Definitely. Okay. Simon, have you got your hand up?
Yeah, I have. Just on that note, Marion, what we've been setting up, Marie, who is running the organisation with me for Northamptonshire, has actually got a hidden disability. So we are, proud that we are looking at both angles of disability and obviously able-bodied. Obviously, it's mental, not physical. Second thing is we've also got people that are joining us that network of interpreters, and we've got a deaf lady who's come in, and she actually brings her interpreter too, and who does the sign language and everything at the meetings. And do you know what? It was actually greeted at the launch of the event 3 weeks ago with a lot of interest of how we can work together, because just because there's a third party to a conversation doesn't mean people still can't have a conversation. And if that has to go through someone signing, it still can happen. So I think what we should be looking at from our communities is how we can engage people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different disability sectors, whatever. We're all human beings. We should be playing to people's strengths and looking at where the positives are. And if there's something that I can do that's going to help move what you're doing there with your group forward as well, just let me know, and let's see if we can have a further conversation about it, and maybe even meet up for a glass of Pimm's in the park or something in July. But I think it's key that we do that, because in the day, what we're all seeing, the bigger issues of the climate, bigger issues of what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and the increase in the interest rate, it's going up to 8% in May, I think it is. So I don't think 6.75% is an increase. It's going up to 8% shortly, and there's a further projection for change in October as well. So we need to be working closer together from all different backgrounds and trying to fight these problems. And I think that's where resilience kicks in, and where this community could really help people in the Wellingborough area. So yeah, just let me know, Marion. You got my details anyway. Let's see if we can get something together and get something moving.
Super. I think we've done a lot of that slide that I showed anyway about how we can work together. Obviously, this is here as a framework for us to work together, but not a sort of a structure, if you like. I think Marion's just going to sort of feed on to that and probably change the subject possibly. But
no, I think it's been good to note down what the barriers to a resilient community are. And also, people have said a minute ago about some of the challenges. I think it'd be worth us just, because there's challenges generally, and then there's challenges at the moment. And obviously the ones at the moment are like, oh my God, we thought COVID was bad, didn't we? But, we've got the remnants. So I just think it's worthwhile just noting some of the urgent challenges at the moment, of which there are many, because there's work that groups and people are doing to help people, generally, but we might have to adjust some of what we're doing to reprioritize in a way towards both urgent ones and long-standing urgent ones, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I know, people have mentioned about obviously the impacts of the Ukrainian Russian war. There'll be Ukrainian refugees coming, and I'll talk about that in a minute. There's obviously the massive increase in costs for people, businesses, government. We've never seen when they reported the budget the other day, or the spring statement. We haven't seen financial crisis like this since the Second World War, and I think that's worth more than a bit of a footnote, really, isn't it? So basically, lots of people are going into meltdown. Lots of, if not practically, psychologically, people will be very, very scared, as well as businesses being very, very scared. A lot of businesses have just come out of COVID and we're not all the way out of that yet. And there's lots of challenges facing us all. So it's, I just thought it'd be worth mentioning them, noting them, and then seeing how we can respond to them and how quickly we think they're going to hit. But unfortunately, I think the answer to that is they're already here, and they're already hitting very, very, quite acutely.
I think we probably have, Marion, if you don't mind me interjecting, is that there are a lot of hurdles to jump over, and there are a lot of things that make community resilience. But essentially, like, how can we work on those together? What does this sort of do as a thing? We've already set up a community email list, which kind of helps us share between each other. We have a WhatsApp group, which kind of does exactly the same thing, but we tried both just to see which one worked. But we could do all sorts. Like, we've got the forum on Facebook next door and online. We could have a separate community resilience Facebook group if you wanted to go mad. I would probably suggest that we sort of have the old, One Wellingborough Plus community group, because essentially that's what it was. I don't know if that's a useful thing. It's there. It might as well be used, I guess. Another idea that I was thinking about doing after seeing the indoor car boot sale and the Victoria Centre's Easter thing kind of clash a little bit. Actually, I think the two events probably will work with each other quite well, but perhaps having a calendar that we can all share our events to, so that people can go to somewhere on a website and go, oh, this is happening at the Victoria Centre today, or this is happening at Glamis Hall or Great Wall Homes. Simon's business events are happening on this evening. This is how you get involved with it if you're a business. It'd just be quite nice to have that, perhaps not necessarily as a planning tool, but more as a sharing tool. Any other ideas about how we can work together? Simon did have his hand up first. I'm not sure if that's from the last time or not, Simon.
No, it's not. It's a new point. I mean, what I was just going to say to you was yesterday I sat on a Zoom call with Northamptonshire Chamber of Commerce, a lot of the local business leaders and the Bank of England, and obviously we're talking about the interest rate 6.75%. As I say, it's going to increase to 8%. But what people aren't talking about is solutions to a lot of these problems. They all talk about rising energy costs, but why aren't we talking about the the use of natural daylight and the use of the warmer weather, rather than talking about extra heating costs? Now, I know it doesn't fit with everybody, I get that, but if we can get more of those messages out there of how to overcome these by using Mother Nature out there, then it can obviously lift morale and lift spirit. And it was very interesting because it was quite a tough, depressing meeting, I'll be honest, because everyone is hearing on the back of Sunak's statement as well, obviously this pandemic costs a lot of money, and so has the war in Ukraine is going to cost a lot of money as well, because obviously food's going to be going up. So we've got all that fun and games coming. All the wheat comes out of Ukraine and Russia, or the third of it in the world or something does. So we're having to really look at how we can almost strip things back to basics. But what makes the world go round is people. And I think the more we can work together in different directions and different areas, and knowledge share. The other thing that came out of yesterday as well was why are we buying new things? Why are we manufacturing new things when we can actually recycle? And again, it's being talked about at long last at business meetings. And I'm like, bloody hell, you guys have been telling us for years. It's not rocket science. We should be looking to upcycle. We should be looking to, look at what's being wasted and how we can move it forward. And I think it's really just making sure people are connected with the right people to be able to get the right things done at the right time. And I think the more we can do that, the better. We're looking at things across the whole of Northamptonshire now. We've got fantastic places here in Northamptonshire people don't go to, and yet they're free of charge to go to. We need to be utilising what's local and sticking at the local theme to help drive things forward. But it's going to be an interesting period. very interesting. We have got skill shortages. We've got, you know, people crying out with employment opportunities, but people don't want to work. It's a very interesting time, but it's the community that will get through this without a doubt, and we just have to keep positive and keep driving forward, and that's what we're doing. So I think what you set up here, Jonathan, yet again, you know, it's great to be able to engage with you on this, and you know, I think this has got a lot of value in it in trying to drive things forward.
Definitely. Like one of the things, Simon, I'm going to come to you in a second, Kevin, is that us as the Eco Group, sorry, different hat needing to be worn, is that we are trying a lot of things on a very small scale, and then hopefully making them grow by sort of encouraging other people and possibly businesses, different organisations to support us, like Glamis Hall have done for years and years and years, probably about 3 or 4 years now, Joe. It feels, you probably feel it's longer, but we won't go into that. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? That you need somebody to sort of ignite the ideas, and then sort of somebody to support those ideas and grow them into something bigger. They have a bigger effect. Kevin, you're on mute, Kevin.
Okay, am I loud and clear again?
You are.
Lovely. So I've got a question or two for Simon. I agree with all that you've said there, but I wonder at the business community actually embracing the idea of avoiding waste and really joining in, because if I understand correctly, most businesses really want to have a minimum of 3% growth per year. If we were to start upcycle, recycle, reuse, and actually get the full value out of goods, if we avoided even a substantial part, let alone all of the waste in consumerism and in a consumer society, that would be a massive contraction for industries and businesses throughout in such a way that their shareholder price would collapse. And I just don't believe that businesses are designed to work in that way, to be supportive of what's needed for society. And I realise it's a structural thing. It's not down to them individually being evil, but it's not hate the player, it's hate the game. And also, just a clarification, you said interest rates going to 8%. And which interest rates is that? Because I'm afraid I don't intuitively know.
Right, I'll see if I can find out what is on the interest rate in a second. I'll come back to that one in a minute. But in response to your question there about, yeah, I love what you just said there, the way you phrased that actually about not necessarily, I forgot what it was, hating the game or something. But yeah, I mean, people are beginning to look at it. So yesterday, there's a company locally in Corby that actually said, we want to work with, we want to collaborate more with local businesses because we are fed up with sending work overseas. It's that message that needs to be pushed around more, but also the fact that we do need to find a way of encouraging people to look at their ways, to look at their upcycling. So I think we need to increase further engagement between some of the eco groups and the business community. I'm in contact with the Business Energy and Industrial Strategy team in Nottingham, which is the East Midlands unit for the government when it comes to the climate. And again, we're trying to get them to engage further with businesses in the community here to look at how we can reduce the waste, the carbon footprint, look at alternative ways of working. The danger we face is the decision over whether we're going to explode the planet or whether we're going to cook it or whether we're going to fry it. And I think that's the danger that we're all concerned over here, that, you know, what is the right way? And again, it's only time will tell with the stats of performance. And again, you know, it's the smaller businesses are the ones that can change. We know that. They can adapt just like that. It's the bigger companies that need to make the change, and most of them aren't in this country, as we know. You know, a lot of the issues are overseas. So, you know, we can only do our bit, but it's, as I say, it's a very interesting subject. But we are working on it. What I'm saying is we are trying to get this message over there, trying to encourage people to look at, you know, cleaner ways of working and you know, cut some of the waste that is going on. It's a couple of things. I mean, North Northants Council announced yesterday that they're just about to invest £1 million into future programmes, which again I can share the link for you in a minute. So that will come out shortly to actually look at the climate and the environmental side. And I'm doing what I can to obviously encourage the smaller businesses to look at the SME Climate Hub and take action, because we need to.
Can I just respond to a couple of things that you were saying, Simon? Firstly, within the Wellingborough Climate Action Project, we're very happy to come and talk to any business, any group of business people. You can get together to talk about the climate challenges and the different things that we've discovered. We've had the 3 conversations that we've had in the last few weeks, and we're happy to come and talk to business and get people thinking about what they can do in response to the challenges around climate change, and in order to transition to more sustainable ways of working. Secondly, picking up from what Kevin was saying about the sort of work, I think one of the big challenges with the way that we're working and stuff is and for every business and family, but definitely for businesses that are producing certain things at the moment, is there is work to be done. There are opportunities for businesses. What we need to understand is that the roles for business will change in a world that is going to be more low carbon and needs to be more low carbon. So how can we envisage new ways of operating? If we understand the challenges that we're moving to and that what we want to create, we can help business create sustainable business that is doing work that sustains us, sustains community, builds resilience, and helps save the planet at the same time. So, in other words, the work that business does now will probably be different than what it could do in 10 years' time, for example. We need to help business, we need to help people to transition to sustainable ways of operating, not just to operate, but actually to create a market for their own activities. A very good example of this is most houses under the sun in this country need some level of insulation. You think about the nature of work, the nature of tasks that need to be done in our community. There are tons of opportunities to generate paid work for people if we focus on the transitions that we need to make. And that's what's frustrating. We showed a little film in the climate conversations that we did, and it was just the basics about climate transition. And then the guy said, look, there's enough, if we use solar and wind power, we can generate enough power to power all that we need probably on the earth. But all we have to do is decide to do it. And in that transition, there is a myriad of wealth creation, work opportunities for small business, for big business, but it's actually about just deciding. So I know we worry about that transition for people, but if we work together on it, it doesn't have to be a lose transition, it can be a win transition. Sorry, I'll stop preaching.
Yeah, but I'd stop you there. I think Kevin, have you got your hand up from before, Kevin, or is that a new hand?
That's an old hand. It doesn't show on my screen, so I didn't realise I had it up, and should be down.
Okay, fabulous. I'd like to, because we've only got about 20 minutes left, and we did promise people the opportunity to sort of tell us about what they're doing. If Simon sort of wants to kick that off, or Simon was coming up with a different point there. But we are here as much to sort of share about what everybody's doing and what events we've got coming up, and we've only got about 20 minutes left. I'd like to keep 5 minutes just so everybody can sort of have a quick sort of chat and whatever else at the end. So on that point, obviously myself, I'm happy to share almost anything that anybody's doing here as part of my role doing that. That's the point. I mean, if you share me a link or a poster or anything like that, then I will share it everywhere. I'll share it all over the co-op stuff. I will share it obviously on our Wellingborough Organisations website, which is part of this. And I'll try and push it as much as I can for you. Simon.
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, Kevin, I'm just looking at my notes. They don't look like they're synchronised with my PC, and I'm not at my where the PC was yesterday. So I will come back to you about the interest rate if that's okay. Marion, just so you know, yeah, no problem. Marion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak to the president of the Wellingborough Chamber of Commerce for you and see if we can get an organised meeting together to talk about this climate stuff with businesses locally, because I think that'll be of value. I'll speak to him this afternoon for you because I've got to speak to him about something else. We've got loads going on, so I'm just conscious I need to actually jump off the call in a way. But what I'll do is, Marion, if I can catch up with you at some point as well, just about a couple of bits that you guys have going on. For us, I mean, anything on the business side, just look at the Northants Business Network website. It's carrying free information on there for local businesses that are struggling or just need guidance on where they can find grants, applications. If you know anybody that's in a business that just wants to have a chat about some challenges they're facing, I'm more than happy to speak to them, give them some time to see if there's a way we can signpost them and move them on. So if I just put the website in the chat for you, I've got to shoot. Marion, is that your mobile number you just put in there for me? Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a ring over the weekend or something. That'd be really good. But I've got to shoot because I've got to get back to the other side of Northamptonshire for 4 o'clock. So good to see you all day. Thank you for joining us, Simon.
Kevin, you've got your hand up. That's definitely a new one this time.
Definitely a new one. So Simon, thanks very much. Look forward to that information. If pass it through Jonathan, and if anybody wants my details, Jonathan, please share them out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to run very promptly as well, which is why I've stuck my hand up there quickly. In terms of what we're doing, for the last week or two, we've now been talking to the every class, every session that's in at Victoria Centre, so at the end of their sessions, regarding fuel poverty, regarding the challenges of fuel poverty, inviting them to think about it, and inviting them to engage with us for the home visits that we offer, invite them to some sessions. We've got a workshop on Thursday of next week at 12 o'clock and another one at 6:30, so you can catch those are available during the day and those are available during the evening at Victoria Centre, and I'll get you some publicity for it probably tomorrow, Jonathan, if you're prepared to share.
I certainly am. I'll share it through our Energy Savers thing as well for you, so that's sort of basically the same thing, so that might sort of give you a bit of a boost on that. So that's great.
That'd be excellent. And just within that, we're coming up to the 31st of March, where I would recommend everybody to take a meter reading for their gas and electric and submit it through to their companies, because at that stage they're getting their fuel bills at the lower prices, whereas in April the fuel prices go up. So you want to make sure there's no averaging, no fudging factor where you end up paying the higher rate for what you've used during March.
Definitely agree. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Marion, are you still with us, Kevin, before you go, or are you off?
Before you do go, Kevin, I just wanted to talk about the refugee work that we're discussing.
Yes, no, I want to stay on as long as I can, so I'll be here till about past, but I am aware that with all the best intentions, we might overrun. So now I've got my bit in, but I'll stay as long as I can to past.
We have no intentions of overrunning. We don't do that. So, Marion, I think you were next.
Yeah, so there were two things. The main thing really is I've been working with people from across the town and with colleagues from the Victoria Centre. We're looking to create a support network for the Ukrainian families that we're looking to bring and to support to come to this area, not just Wellingborough, but probably across the whole of the Northants area. We had a meeting just over a week ago with interested parties, and there will be more interested parties. What we've been trying to do is to people may be aware that the Victoria Centre runs a service called the Information Centre for New Arrivals, and it has done for many years. And that's been supporting, obviously, new arrivals to the country for many years, and providing very practical, helpful support, particularly around registering for services, filling in forms, registering for legal status in terms of, government's right to remain, etc., and various other things about education for children, for passport stuff, etc. And the centre is looking to expand that service to offer a broader range of support to people particularly coming from the Ukrainian, from Ukraine or from countries where they've fled to. Also, I mean, the centre's always supported people from other nationalities and people living in our communities who have English as their second language anyway. So that work continues. But I know that the centre is very keen to expand the existing service. They've put in for a grant of funding from North Northants Council, which the centre is still waiting to hear about. But talking to Bogdan today, who's will be the main lead on this service and has been, is looking for other grants and other ways to get on with this, to crack on with this service. So what we're looking at is, it's not quite hub and spoke, but a sort of network approach where the Victoria Centre will support particularly families that are hosting people, as well as the people themselves. Obviously, a lot of people have applied for applied to host families. They've registered to host families. They are having difficulty matching, actually getting to know where those families are, because the government hasn't changed that part of the process yet, but some people are managing to do that. I know Bogdan's already created a list of accommodation and people with accommodation available within the area, and he's starting to create a list of people that are looking for accommodation as well. We want to expand that. So this isn't just going to be the Victoria Centre's service. It needs to be a community service, because it is about, I think the main thing, as far as I understand it from my conversations with Bogdan, is that the service will provide a range of administrative supports, both to the families themselves, but also to the people hosting them. But also it offers a hub through which other provision and other support can be provided to those families. Other help can be provided, because there's many people perhaps haven't got accommodation to offer, but they want to help in other ways. So it's galvanising volunteers together, looking to channel funding as well, appealing for donations and channel funding to supporting people that are coming through. So it's really, I mean, we've talked about community resilience. This is community resilience in action. How can we bring together all the sorts of things that local people have been doing individually or groups have been doing collectively to really support this group of people? And I just want to say one other thing, that this isn't just about, for me anyway, and it's something I've spoken to Kevin about, this isn't just about supporting Ukrainian families. We've talked about a lot of families that are struggling anyway in this country. And what we would hope to create is a network of support and event opportunities and opportunities for people to come together, where anyone can come to that. Anyone in need can come to that. So if we manage to galvanise donations, and there's, you know, that can be used to hold community events or community cafes or whatever. If we manage to get donations that it's not just about those families that would receive them, but they may be required by other families in the community. So it's actually sharing that around, and so that any new opportunity that's created is open to as many people possible from the town, because we want to avoid the sense of people already struggling in this community looking at others coming in and thinking they're getting better than we are.
Marion,
if we're going to build,
stop, because I think Kevin probably wants to come back on that, and
and
we
if I
are going to
could just
overrun
finish
it.
my sentence, Jonathan, please. If we're, and you know, sorry, but this is quite a big piece, isn't it? But if we're going to build resilient communities, we need to understand that there are tensions in those communities, and many of us in Wellingborough are very aware of that. So it is about actually putting those things together and being sensitive to the needs of all in our community, whilst one group might motivate us to action, if you see what I mean. So if you've got any ideas, if you want to take part in it, if you know anybody else that's offering accommodation, if you know anybody who wants to donate, if you know anybody who wants to come and help, you know, maybe with transport issues or other things, we'll soon be putting out information appealing for people and with a list of what's required. I don't know if Kevin wants to say any more, because obviously it's the Victoria Centre's service, and it's the Victoria Centre service, but it's not just owned by the Victoria Centre. It's many. I'm doing this with my councillor hat on, and there's many other people from across the town that want to take part in that as well.
Would you like to come back on that, Kevin? And would anybody else like to come back on that?
Happy to. yes, I'm totally in support of what Marion has said there. ICNA, Information Centre for New Arrivals, is centred around new arrivals. We're looking at migrants into the area. We've looked after many over the years. So as the Hindu population moved in, the service was there. As the West Indian population moved in, that service was there. As the Romanian, the Polish have and are moving in, that service is maybe focused on them now, but we're aware that we move to the need. But what Marion says there regarding the locals who will have issues with bureaucracy, it would be excellent if we could extend the service to them. We don't, because they're not at the present seen as the most vulnerable, but that's a generalization. Some are. We don't necessarily have direct funding to have people in place to do that, but there's nothing to say that that can't be made available. So with the funding, I would love to have an ICNA style service for people who are struggling with bureaucracy of one sort or another, with all the different aspects of living. And I think it would have a different heading, a different project name, but it could be substantially the same thing. Happy to do that. Just one other thing I will mention, before the Ukrainian thing kicked off, there was a big push across the country to support incoming Afghan refugees. And we have a small grant towards that, just a really small one. And we're keen to contact and connect with Afghans. It turns out that a lot of them are centered around Northampton. And I have to say that, sorry, is Lorraine going? Shall I shut up now? I'm going to shut up for a moment.
No, I think people are probably wanting to go fairly quickly, which is why I'm kind of not trying to cut people off a little bit. But
so I'll just say, if you've got Afghan contacts, send them my way.
Fabulous. Lorraine, would you like to say anything before you pop off?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. If you saw my diary, you would cry. It's like back to back meetings ahead. All I just wanted to let everyone know is that Great Wall Homes is supporting Life's Not Knives in Quinton to do a 10-week workshop with families in Queensway. And as a spin-off from that,
can I have some leaflets, please, Lorraine?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're working with Made with Many. We're working with everybody. Sorry if I'm not mentioning everyone's names. Made with Many, Father Ben. We're holding everything at the church on a Friday. I will be supporting young people who actually want to do a Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so I was looking for a dungeon master, but I found one now. Great. And also putting together a girls' network between the ages of 14 to 18, based on some research that Manchester has just completed with 40,000 young ladies, why that group needs to be separate and not a mixed gender group. So I was very aware of that, and so need some support with that. If anyone's got any resources or anything, please get into contact and we can talk further. But yeah, lots going off. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks, everyone. And I hope to see you soon.
Lorraine, please send your stuff to Jonathan, who will share them to the group.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Will do. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you.
Kevin, can you share your information with the group as well that you have on supporting incoming families and what advice that they can, so I know if I have anyone here, what I can send them down to you for?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Fabulous. I don't know if, am I coming through here? I'm not, am I?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've switched
Sorry,
cameras, but yeah, you are still coming through. No, you've muted yourself.
Judy, would you like to tell everybody about the Great British Spring Clean tomorrow, as soon as I'm having so much?
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. So it's from 10 to 12, based in the town centre, and it's part of the Great British Spring Clean. So we're hoping to get as many people in Wellingborough as possible to help with that. There'll be equipment, Welly Wombles will be there. They're having some vouchers so people can get free coffee and so forth. So yeah, as many people as possible, please. And then on the second Saturday we've got the repair cafe again, I believe at Glamis, if anyone's interested in that. And obviously our Tuesdays are still going on at Glamis Community Room. Yeah.
Fabulous. I think I'm actually back, which is good. Joe, I don't think you've said anything. If you want to quickly chip in with anything that's going on at Glamis.
So yeah, we've got our car boot sale on the 9th of April. So yeah, the Repair Cafe will be there, and Cat with the food sharers stuff as well, I think. We've got on the, oh, see, now you're pressuring me, I'm gonna have to check dates so I get this right. On Saturday the 2nd in the afternoon, if anybody's into clubber-size or various fitness, if you search Facebook for Mel's Fitness, there's a 3-hour fitness event running that's a sponsored event to raise funds for the Off the Streets campaign to try and put bleed kits into various premises around the town. So they've got, I think, Zumba and a couple of other groups that are going to be running. And Lorraine said something that made me think of something really important, and it's gone. So if I think of it, oh, I know what it was, just found it. It wasn't, it was Kevin talking about other communities. On Saturday the 16th, which is the Saturday before Christmas, we've got the Polish Easter blessing up here. They have all the food blessed that they're going to eat on Easter Sunday. So they come with baskets. There's normally about 1,000 of them. So if you have information, Kevin, that I can put out up here leaflet wise, that's why I was asking for that, because I think that'd be helpful for some of those families. And equally, helping refugee families, anything like that you've got, Marion, that would be very beneficial. There's thousands of them come through in about a 2-hour window. Don't come onto the Queensway on Saturday the 16th before 1 o'clock. You will not get on or off.
Marion, you've got your hand up, and you've got approximately about a minute and a half. No pressure.
We haven't said anything about report back from the climate action events. They went really well. We had a lot of participation. We're going to write up the report on that, and the town council will be considering that as well. Just to say, I know Kevin mentioned about some fuel poverty work. We're also going to be doing some energy saving advice sessions, workshop sessions throughout April and probably a little bit into May as well. So we'll be feeding back to people that took part and also offering that again. Some of those sessions will be on Zoom, so hopefully more people can take part as well as doing them in public. So we'll see. But we've been working with the Centre for Sustainable Energy to create those resources. So sort of more grist to the mill, really. That's it.
Thank you very much, everybody. Has anybody else got anything they want to quickly say?
Can I just say, Marion, where do I find out about what help is needed with the Ukrainians? Where you put information?
Yeah, but I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been sort of gathering information together. I'm meeting again with Bogdan on Monday, and then he's going to devise a poster, and we'll be clear. We'll be able to be clearer about what we can put out and what we can say. And obviously, you know, Kevin, as the centre manager, will have to decide about how that's going to go forward. But I
think we'll want another group meeting before long as well. So Judy, if you wanted to, you could participate there. Sorry to interrupt, Marion.
Yeah, so as soon as we're clear on what the Victoria Centre is able to do and how it's going to do that, and then the groups that are holding around it as well, then we can sort of say a bit more. So hopefully that'll be early next week, really. Mm-hmm. But we didn't want to sort of go off half-cocked on things. We have put stuff on Facebook about it, you know, asking people that have registered to get in touch with the Victoria Centre, and then we'll put them on a list. And then anybody that has contacts with families in Ukraine or have left Ukraine and are looking to come to Britain, again, to get in touch, because we're trying to match people together. We know that some of this is going to happen by the bigger charities in future, but it's not happening at the moment, and we don't know when that future is. So we're just trying to galvanise people together at present, really.
Yeah, presently we're operating without any promised funding, so you know that's not sustainable. But send any issues, people, and the rest of it our way anyway.
That's a very familiar situation. Do it first and hope the funding comes later.
Yeah.
As always, if you wanted to use the Wellingborough Organisations website, that's what it's for, because we've done an awful lot with that website. that we wouldn't have been able to facilitate without it. So that's what it's for. So if you wanted to set up what we've done for the trees, for instance, Marion, with the refugees, we can do that through them. Anyway, unless anybody's got anything else to say, oh, there we go. Plant a tree for Jubilee. Well promoted.
Does anybody want any more trees? We've managed to get quite a few out in the last few days. There is some logistical issues for the more established trees, which I'm trying to work through with people. But
Doesn't help when head gardener's got himself laid up, does it really?
Rubbish.
There's a patch of land beside the Victoria Centre which we could guerrilla garden and plant a small copse.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good spot. They're saying there's a shortage of orchards, aren't they, this week as well?
Yeah.
Lots of apple trees. I'm sensing a cider party.
I think you'll have some trees coming up to you, Joe. I know Jonathan took away some dogwood roses and crab apples for Glamis, so hopefully you're getting those.
I'm planning on bringing them up. Well, I was supposed to be up on Tuesday, but funny enough, something else happened. But there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Judy did very well on Tuesday.
I
Oh,
know.
They were very busy.
Yeah.
Sold litter pickers when they didn't realise they'd done it. But yeah, that's fun.
They did very well. They were very busy.
No, it's brilliant. That's
Overwhelmed
the awesome job.
I wouldn't worry too much about the loss of litter pickers because hopefully you're going to get a load more tomorrow, eh?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Do share anything you want with me and I'll share it with everybody else. Or, of course, if you are part of the community list, just post it on there and it goes through to everybody else on that list anyway. And that's community@wellingborough.org.
Can I just say, I've got my feedback form from the climate conversations. Who do I send it to? Because I forgot to give it in to Marion. Right, okay, I'll email it to you. Okay.
Jonathan, I had a meeting earlier with Simon, which is one of the reasons I was then late because I had to push back another meeting. I've told him to talk to you about energy savers. So just remind him if he asks the question. Yeah, it's something he's looking at for the business network.
Brilliant. That's what it's there for. Again, Kevin, that's a free resource. If you wanted to use that for your projects, it's a website full of stuff. It's energysavers.org.uk. Anyway, I think that's everybody. Thank you very much. We have gone over by 3 minutes. I do apologise.
It was very good anyway.
Very useful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you Tuesday.
Yeah, look forward to it, hopefully.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.